Mumbai, a densely packed urban jungle, is home to millions, and so the city reaches high into the sky to house her people. But these buildings wouldn't have been possible without iron. For take away the iron, and what's left aren't buildings, but piles of brick. A building block of modern cities. Iron is surprisingly ancient, and the secrets of how it was first made is closely held in India's villages, where we travel in search of the Agaria, the makers of iron. The mineral-rich Chota Nagpur Plateau in central India is home to dense jungles and many tribal groups, including the Agarias. This ancient tribe is believed to be the first to investigate the rich ferrous soils around them, refining rocks until they yielded iron, becoming the first to discover the technique of iron smelting. A discovery so significant that societies that made it were said to have entered the Iron Age.
At the moment, as my research tells, India is one of the ancient most countries which started smelting of iron. Iron smelting started here sometimes around 17 to 1500 BC period.
Not far from Varanasi, in Sarnath, is Sunil Sahasrabuddhe, a researcher and an activist who is trying hard through Vidya Ashram to document, preserve and revive the ancient knowledge systems of India.
AGARIAS के पास दुनिया को देने के लिए इतना ज़्यादा है, स्पिरिचुअल लेवल पे है, मटेरियल लेवल पे है, साइंस के लेवल पे है, टेक्नोलॉजी के लेवल पे है. It's a very, very high art and science that they practice.
Today, the Agarias are almost completely forgotten, and few are aware of their contributions to industry and engineering through iron. Fewer yet know whether they still make the iron for which they were once famed. And that motivates Mazhar Kamran, a filmmaker, to document the ancient iron smelting techniques before they're lost. The most intriguing part of the film for Mazhar and his assistants is its inherent contradiction. An ancient tribe living in a remote jungle who are yet possessors of sophisticated technological knowledge. How do they make a furnace and produce iron from ore?
Yeah, we're calling from Mumbai, and this is with regard to a film on the Agarias.
It's a people science, so it's...
All the meetings, research and phone calls seem to lead to one conclusion. We need to ask the Agarias.
So we'll be taking this journey, let's see.
And Mazhar sets off on the trail of the Agaria. Ironically, the closer he gets to the home of the Agarias, the less he sees of the buildings that are the largest consumers of the Agarias' iron. Jabalpur, the end of the first leg of the journey. From here, it's a 3-hour drive to Mandla, a town nestled on the banks of the Narmada, one of the most sacred rivers in India.
To enter this region is to enter a land of myths and tales. This is the mighty river Narmada, and the story goes that an ancient ascetic, Sahasrabhav, he tried to stop the river with his 1,000 ants, but as you can see, he couldn't succeed. The river just fragmented into 1,000 streams and rushed past.
This stunning river valley with its rich forests, fed by flowing rivers, has been home to unique tribes and those that would study them. We follow in their footsteps.
British anthropologist Verrer Elvin spent a large part of his life documenting the lives of the tribals. He even married amongst them. He was married to a Gond. He later married a Baiga woman, and he wrote these brilliant books with deep knowledge and empathy. His work on the Agarias is a classic. In this book, there's an interesting quote, an Agaria proverb, which goes, "If you think iron is nothing, Look out of your house and see it wandering all over the three worlds.
For the Agaria, iron is not mundane metal. It is a part of themselves and everything they experience. The next day, we meet Omkar Prasad Rajak, our guide, who is in reality a teacher known in every tribal household here. If anyone can help us track down an Agaria iron smelter, it is him. On the way to Amwar, the weather changes. The bright sunny day is washed away in a torrential downpour, but the jeep continues until it's forced to stop.
चलो चलते हैं, ट्राई करते हैं, निकल जाएंगे.
With the successful crossing, spirits rise, but all too soon, there's another hurdle. The river Burner is in full flood, and people wait for the stream to subside. How long have they been waiting? No idea. How long are they going to wait? They don't know. The river can test their will, but they can wait it out. Accepting defeat at the hands of the river, resuming the journey to Amwar means a detour of 30-odd kilometers which must be made. Finally, Amwar, which has begun to seem a mythical land. After the treacherous journey, it's almost too good to be true that the first person we see is an Agaria, but an Agaria tilling the land, an Agaria working with earth, not iron.
लोहा पिघलाने का काम जानते हो?
वो दुकान से खरीद के लाते हैं लोहा, अपने हाथ से तो नहीं गिर पाएगा.
इस गांव में कोई भी ऐसा है जो बता पाएगा लोहा पिघलाना?
नहीं है, ये काम बिल्कुल छोड़ ही दिए हैं.
तो पुराना चप्पा धुकाई चलत रहे तेन सही में
बंद है ना,
बंद हो गई.
नहीं तो पत्थर तो अब है,
पत्थर है ना, लोहा पत्थर.
क्या वो चप्पा क्या बंद हो गया?
बंद हो गया.
इसे बंद कर दिया इन्होंने.
Amwar is a very pretty village and home to a number of tribes.
तुम क्या हो?
बैगा
गोंड.
Agarias, Baigas and Gonds all live together here because each tribe once played a specific role in this village's complex socio-economic life. The Agarias' role was to smelt iron for agricultural tools. Their discovery of how to work iron ended the copper-bronze age in India and democratized farming. Today, Itwari buys iron to make plowshares, his only connection to iron.
आप ये लोहे का काम करना जानते हो?
नहीं जानते, सीखे नहीं है अभी.
सीखे नहीं?
जी.
आपने कभी किया वो लोहे का गलाने का काम?
नहीं किए हैं, लोहा गलाने के काम.
नहीं किए? कभी नहीं?
कभी नहीं किए हैं.
तो आप बता सकते हैं कहाँ जाएं जो हमको वो लोग मिल जाएं?
भाई के बाद वहाँ जाओ, गौरव कन्हारी जाओ.
गौरा कन्हारी वाले तो उसी वो भी जानते होंगे.
But before setting off to Gora Kanhari, Amwar's villagers insist on a grand send-off. They don't need a reason to celebrate. For them, every day is God's gift and a very valid reason to sing, dance and chit-chat over a cup of freshly brewed mahua. Not a care in the world, no segregation of women, no sense of male authority. A sense of the equality of the sexes comes naturally to them, while we in the cities still struggle with it. Back to base camp in Mandla. The lack of smelting today reinforces our suspicions that the AGARIAS iron smelting is dying out. We're off to visit Tok Singh, who's deeply knowledgeable about the AGARIAS' belief in Lohasur, the iron god, Agyasur, the fire god, and Koilasur, the god of coal. But his village is deep in the jungle. Not surprisingly, the jeep gets badly stuck in the Kacha road. But somehow it reaches Gaura Kanhari, where we're told it's 5 more kilometers to Dagauna, Tok Singh's village. The only way to reach it is on foot. Dagauna lies by the Burner, the same river that washed the road away yesterday. Here and now, it is a tiny stream.
ये टोक सिंह का घर मालूम है आपको? कहाँ पर है जरा बता देंगे? किधर है?
यही सर।
माता जी, अरे टोक सिंह का घर है?
हाँ।
कहाँ है टोक सिंह?
घोड़ा खोजे लगे से।
That's the first time that's ever been offered as an excuse to us. As we wait for Tok Singh, Gugri, his wife, tells us the AGARIAS of Dagauna too no longer smelt iron. But Tok Singh's brother, Hira Singh, still has the bellows used to stoke the fire for the furnace. But first, we have to wait till Tok Singh returns with his horse. And then the couple takes us to Hira Singh. As Hira Singh works the bellows, he lights up. Even if he can no longer make iron, it remains central to his beliefs.
आपको ये विद्या, ये जानकारी लोहा पिघलाने की कैसे मिली?
जी हमारा पूर्वज से ये माता पिता हमारा आजा दादी करते आ रहे हैं। भगवान के भरोसे तो होते ही तब तो विश्वास सहित करते हैं उसका तब लोहे आता है। एक हमने बखर बनाया तो बखर उचट करके मेरा ये लग गया। वैसे होता तो कट जाता, पर बाकी हमको ये अभी उधर नहीं है। ये शक्ति है उसका हमारा।
The Maravi brothers' knowledge seems to have descended into superstition or unshakable belief. But once, the AGARIAS' mastery over iron made them a very well-respected community. And Tok Singh tells us why.
जब ये धरती पृथ्वी जाला रंग जल पानी रहे, तो इस धरती को गढ़ने के लिए अपना मन विचार करके तो नागा बाइगा लोग धरती बनाने वाले जब बनाई तो इनमें चारों खूट में खीला ठोक, इन बड़ा बड़ा सोने का खीला ठोका, बड़ा अमृत का भी खीला ठोका। अगर वो धरती एकदम हिलता था, तब नागा बाइगा लोग ने हमको ऑर्डर दिया लोखंडी में कि 12 भाई अगर ये को बुलाओ, तब हमको ये लोहा गला करके हमको खीला काटेगा।
और क्या बता सकते हो? कुछ पत्थर के बारे में आप बता?
पत्थर के बारे में हमका उसका कलर की मालूम से हम उस पत्थर को पहचानते हैं।
इसका रंग देखकर?
रंग देखकर किसको इसमें
रंग तो लाल, काला, पीला, सफेद
3 प्रकार की होती है। पत्थर 3 प्रकार का पत्थर होता है। हाँ, एक पीला सा होता है, हरदू और एक फिर काला रंग सा होता है, एक फेरा और दूसरा रंग से होता है।
तीनों रंग के पत्थर में अलग अलग लोहा होती है, एक ही हाल।
इसमें मात्रा ज़्यादा होती है।
मात्रे इस अपनी हल्दी पत्थर में मात्रे ज्यादा होती है।
But the real question is, who can show us the process of iron smelting?
कौन है अकलगरिया में, किससे मिले?
अकलगरिया में सीताराम कर लेगा करेगा।
Tok Singh promises to show us how he gathers the stones from which iron is smelted tomorrow. And so, we decide to spend the night in Dagauna. After all, as Tok Singh says, dreams play an important role in an Agaria's life, sometimes helping identify locations from where the best iron ore can be dug out. The next day, the Maravis take us into the jungle to collect the stones that give them iron. Although they no longer know how to smelt, they scrupulously follow the rituals of stone collection. Tok Singh's knowledge of iron is so instinctive that he can tell by looking at the color of the stone if it's of any use or not. After a long search, we find haldu, which has the highest content of iron. Stone collection complete, Tok Singh demonstrates how at the Hareli festival, Agarias ward their houses with iron nails. This simple iron nail is an amulet that protects against all evil. The Agarias' trust in the power of iron is inspiring, the simplicity of their faith matched by the strength of their belief. How then could they have lost their knowledge of making iron? The hunt for the furnace continues, and the market of Mawai is the place to visit before we leave for Akalgaria to meet Sitaram. This hut in the tiny village of Mawai is like a tribal supermarket where they can buy almost anything. And in the corner, we notice a man buying scrap iron at one of the shops. We follow him, and not surprisingly, he turns out to be an Agaria.
हाँ, आपका गांव कितनी दूर है यहाँ से?
यहाँ से मवई से 3 किलोमीटर दूर।
कैसे आते हैं यहाँ?
रोड है, हाँ, मोटरसाइकिल में से।
Sudesh believes he possesses some kind of Shakti. Curious, yet not completely convinced, we follow him to his workshop. Sudesh is a man possessed with a passion for what he does. Known for miles around as a master ironsmith, he displays his work for the village temple. But most unusual is his fearless handling of iron. The red-hot iron Sudesh touches and licks is between 200 to 300 degrees Celsius. such high temperatures should burn human skin on contact. Yet, apparently, Sudesh is unharmed. Is it conditioning or belief?
नहीं, ये तो दवा लगाने के नौ बताती तो तुम्हें पकड़ ही नहीं सकता हूँ अभी। अगर नहीं पति यार तुम छीके देखो, उतने जीभ में चाट के देखो, जीभ वहाँ लटक जाही वहीं से लटक जाही टूट के।
अच्छा,
ये जो हमारे एक शक्ति के हिसाब से कुछ नहीं होता।
Sudesh's bizarre abilities are unexplained.